Hi there, my beautiful Thrivers. Welcome back to another video with Thriving in Chaos. In the last video, I offered to show how I made the tab dividers in my cash envelopes, and I got several comments saying they would love to see it. So that's what this video is for, you guys. How to make your own tab dividers. So I hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Alright guys, so before we do get started, I'm going to go ahead and grab today's prompter card. If you're new to my videos, this is a prompter card. It's basically a conversation starter. I'll ask and answer the question in this video, and you guys can put your answers in the comments below. It's basically a little something to help me get to know you better and you to get to know me better. So today's prompter card is, if you were adopted, would you want to find your biological parents? Have you ever considered adopting? If I was adopted, I probably would. There's just a lot of unanswered questions in that. I'd want to know why, what happened, who they were. Is there family out there? Do I have brothers and sisters? Just, yeah, I'd like to know. And then also, I have considered adopting. However, that's probably not going to happen. My kids are almost grown. Unless God puts it on my heart to do it, I think I'm done with kiddos. What about you guys? If you were adopted, would you want to find your biological parents, or have you ever considered adopting yourself? Okay, so before we do get this going, I do want to make a small disclaimer. I bought some tabs from Intentional Living, and I love them. And if I had the money, I would buy all the tabs I would ever need for every envelope that I have. But unfortunately, I am just not made of money. And so, especially in this day and time, I just can't. I can't justify that expense. So I just wanted to try and make my own, save myself a little bit of money, not necessarily take anything away from Intentional Living, because gosh, I love her products and I will still be buying from her 100%. But this is for somebody who probably doesn't have the funds to be able to do that, but wants to be able to do it. So I would say if you had the money and you could do it, go for it. Go to IntentionalLivingYT on Etsy and buy them. They're not that expensive, but for the amount of tabs that I want, it would have been for me, let me tell you. I think she sells them for about $3 a piece, but she does bundles, so that's not bad, I don't think. But with that said, this video is about how to make them on your own, especially if you are on a budget like I am. So let me start with the items that you're going to need. First, you're going to need some thick translucent vellum. This is 167 GSM. That's the paperweight. You're going to want the thickest kind you can find. Trust me on this one. Then you're going to need a paper cutter. I mean, that's kind of obvious. Or scissors if you don't have one of these. Then you're going to need a Cricut of any kind. I have a Cricut Joy, so that's what I'm going to use. And of course, you're going to need the vinyl and transfer tape. Don't forget the ruler. And for me, a good show. Literally all you're going to need. The translucent vellum I got off of Amazon for almost $12. Of course, I have Prime, so that didn't include any kind of shipping costs, and I got it like 2 days later. So $11 and some change was what I ended up spending. So for that, I got an entire package of vellum. Each sheet makes about 3 tabs. I don't remember how many came in the pack. Probably about 40 something, I don't know. I mean, that makes a lot of tabs. All the tabs I could probably need. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If you don't know, if you didn't watch any of my previous videos where I showed them, let me show you what they look like. So I'll show you the ones that I bought from Intentional Living, just to give you an idea of what I got. And these are the envelope tabs. They are very smooth. I didn't get the smooth kind, which I don't know, I couldn't find anything, so If you guys know of or can find any on Amazon, tell me about it. Email me. But I bought these from Intentional Living, and she made these for me. I bought quite a bit, as you can see, and no regrets. I absolutely love them. They separate out what I need to save for one specific category without having to make a million other envelopes, and that's perfect for me. With that being said, after I got these, I just started thinking of different things that I could actually use these tabs for. So instead of spending all my hubby's money, because you know I could, I tried to make my own, and this is how they turned out. So they're not as smooth. I mean, they're still smooth, but they're not as smooth. They have some kind of texture to them, which is fine. And they are the same thickness, so that's good. And then I couldn't find the same font, so I just found one that I liked. And this is what they ended up looking like. And they do the job. Pretty easy to do, I feel. So I made a bunch of these. Probably about, I would say, maybe 50 different tabs for myself. So I want to show you guys how I made these, just so that you have that knowledge for yourself. I don't want to make the mistake of thinking that this is to, you know, take money away from Intentional Living because this was her idea. I don't want that at all. So if you can't afford to, go check her out, please. And just buy from her, let her do it. But if you can't and you're on a really solid budget and you can afford $12, then I would go with this. And that's if you have a Cricut, of course. So I'm going to make 2 tabs for you guys today, and it's going to go in my hubby and my wifey envelope. So for instance, my hubby's has Father's Day and birthday, so I'm going to make another tab in here that'll say spoil him, just so that I can have a little something to spoil him if I want. And I'm going to do the same for wifey, having spoil her. So I'm going to make those 2 tabs today for you guys, just to show you how I did it. So I'm going to try and walk you through this without trying to make this video super long. So some parts might be sped up just to abbreviate the time, but I will try and walk you through exactly what I did. Starting with the vellum. Now this doesn't have any kind of packaging on the outside. It did. It came with it, but I totally misplaced it, or I threw it away. I think I probably threw it away. But I will link this in my description box so that you have it. And you'll see that it was $11 and some change. Or that's what it came up to after tax. So this is the full sheet of vellum, and I can get 3 tabs out of this. So I went ahead and made some measurement notes. And this is my to-do thing here. I make all my notes in this thing. Alright, so for my regular envelopes, I want them to be 6.2 inches. Now, I'm not good at measurements, so when I say 0.2, I'm talking about 2 little lines past the 6. I don't know what they are. I'm not a carpenter, and I didn't pay attention to ruler measurement terms, but it's 6 with 2 lines. So 6.2 is how long I make them. Right, like that. Then for how wide I want them, it is 3.375. So what that means to me is 3 and 3 lines, and then about 75% of that, so just before that 4th line. Don't come for me, I'm sorry, but that's just how I can read it. So I will want the tabs to be like 3 lines after the 3, and then just before that 4th line, about right there. And then the tab itself is 2.11, so 11 of these lines here will go for the tabs. So you'll see what I'm talking about as I get going. The tab itself is 0.5 plus 0.1. So it's 1/2 inch right here. Where is the half? Half is right here. Okay, so it's 1/2 inch plus 1 line. That's how I'm reading this. So that is how big I want my tab to be. And then the letters itself are actually 1/2 inch. So it's just a bit smaller than the actual tab is. Again, I'll show you as I go. To make things much easier for myself, I went ahead and pre-measured on my cutting board here the exact measurement I need. So this is the width of my tabs. So all I would do is take this and I put washi tape here. So the washi tape itself kind of blocks it from moving. And I straighten it up and then I go ahead and cut. And that is the exact measurement I need for the width of my tab. So I go ahead and I do that 3 times. 1, 2, and then a 3rd time. Like that. I'll have this little bit left over, just put it off to the side. So now I have 3 tabs here, and I need to cut them shorter, of course. This I do by rote memory, but for me, on my cutting board, again, the measurement itself for the length is the 6.2, or 6 and 2 of those small little lines. So I figured it out myself without having to worry about it, and I put it right before the 6, right here, and then I cut, and this is the measurement I needed right here. Don't believe me? There it is, like there. Okay, so I'll do that again and again right before that line. And now I have my tabs cut to where I need them. In comes the Cricut. So this is my Cricut Joy. My hubby got this for me for my Mother's Day / birthday last year. I love it. I haven't gotten a lot of opportunity to use it. I've used it for some of my envelopes here, like this. And then, of course, on the outsides of my binders. Really, really enjoyed using it. So, what I use is my phone. And I'll open the Cricut Design Space on my phone. And I'll start a new project. It should have the ones that I had before, so I'm going to keep that. And then I'm probably just going to delete all of these, except for the top 2. Okay, so using what I already have here, I'm going to just change the words here. And we're going to make it spoil him, and then spoil her. Alright, so now I'm going to move this close to it. So if you notice, I have these at 1/2 inch. If you look, it's 0.5, so 1/2 inch. So each of them are 1/2 inch, so they are perfect for this. So I will now make this. So if you've never used something like this, this is what I do. I do it without the mat, and then it tells me I need 4 inches of material length. So this is where I get my vinyl. This is a removable kind. I would have used the permanent kind, but it was glossy, and I didn't really want glossy. So I made the sacrifice and went with the removable black that I had on hand. So now I'm just going to cut 4 inches of material here. So I don't need very much. And 4 inches, I'm going to go just a little bit over 4 inches just to be safe. Is about right there. So I'll start the cut and then I'll flip it over. Love the grid lines, and I'll just follow the grid line. And now I have my 4 inches. And once you have the material that you needed, I will click next and it'll tell me to select an accessory. I'll wait for it to register my accessory. And there it is. And once it's connected, it'll tell me to put this in just to ensure that it's got enough. And I'm going to go ahead and tell it what I'm using. And now it wants to make sure I have 4 inches. And it's happy. And now it's going to tell me to press go. So I'm going to press go. Once it's done, it tells me to unload my material. It pushes it out for me, and I am done. So for me, that means just packing this little baby up for the next project. Now is the relaxing part where I usually put on a show, especially if I have a lot of words like I did the last time. And you just weed off the stuff. These letters are super thin, so I have learned the hard way to go slow. Otherwise, my letters just peel right up with them. And that's annoying. And as you can see, my P tried to pick up there, so I'm going to push it back into place where I wanted it. We'll go ahead and take out the center piece. Like so. And then I put a little piece of foam on here because otherwise this thing will hurt. Alright, so now I get my transfer tape. It's just some tape I got off of Amazon. I don't know if Cricut transfer tape is any better than this, but it is, sometimes it's difficult with me. It is. But I'm just going to pull off a little piece of that. And then I'm going to take it, peel this off. And put it right on here. Like so. And then I'm going to cut them. Cut this one just a little bit. I like to have a little section to grab it with. Alright, so the problem I always end up having is it not pulling up the way it's supposed to. So I have to be very careful when I do this, because if you notice, it's like bubbled all the way around no matter how I put this on here. So it's almost like the air just won't allow it to stick to the letters. So I have to do this really, really slowly. If you are a Cricut owner and you know how to do this better, please let me know. Give me your tips and tricks. And once you get it, then you're good. Now, before I put this on here, I do want to compare it to the tabs I have already. And this only applies when you're making multiple tabs for your stuff, right? So, for me, I'll take the last tab that I have, which is the birthday, and I will take a thing and I will, only to the right, just use my fingernail to kind of give it a little scrape. You can't really see it unless you look in a certain light. I don't even know if this will show up, but you can just barely see it. And that is where I'm going to put Spoil Him, which I pulled the wrong one. It's fine. It's all good. Okay. So then I take it right where I made that line and I position it where I want it. Pretty close to the top. And then I apply. And now it should line up, which it does, so we're good. I'm going to go ahead and do Spoil Her in the same way. But let me put this back. I'm going to actually use the wifey ones just because I want to make sure I get the right measurement. So Mother's Day and then birthday. Lining it up. And I'll have an extra one if I ever think of another one to make. Alright, so now back to my paper cutter. So on this side, this is what I cut these with. So what I did is I flipped it over here, and on this side I went ahead and pre-measured where I would need for cutting my tabs. So I just push it to there and line it up. And then I'm just going to go right up to the edge of it like that. Come this way, right up to the edge of it like, I'll keep going a little bit more like that. Then once I have it, I'm going to put that line right in the middle and I'm going to meet it. And once I've met it, pull this part out and I'll do the same thing on this side. Like so. And now I have Spoil Her. Ta-da! So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And Spoil Him. And that is how I've made my tabs. pretty easy. I did this in real time with you guys, minus a little bit of speeding up in certain areas that were just, you know, waiting. But you see how easy that was. So what I'd like to take this last bit of time with you to do is to go through the ones that I have made for my binders. So I'm going to start with short term. So for short term, I made some for self-care. I have haircuts, hair color, nails, and pamper. And then I don't know that I actually have anything else in any of these. So we're good on that. And then we have long term. So we have vacation, which these are the ones that Intentional Living made right there. I like her letters so much, I wish I could find them. And then I think that might have been the only thing I did in this binder. It is. Then for holidays, as you saw, we have holidays. That's all the holidays I could think of that I actually buy things for. So that is Valentine's, Easter, 4th of July, Halloween, and Thanksgiving, which is basically everything represented here. So Valentine's, Easter, 4th of July, Halloween, and Thanksgiving. Hubby, as you've seen, has Father's Day, birthday, and spoil him. Same for wifey, Mother's Day, birthday, spoil her. And then Christmas is what I got from Intentional Living. So that's got all of the tabs I need for our Christmas. I did make some tabs for our business. Starting with budget supplies, I went ahead and did stickers, planners, equipment, and office. Little sticky still. And then for festivals, I did fees, so festival fees, decor, and change. So the change is like to have change while he's there for anybody who spends real cash. That way he has change to give back to them. And then I did the same for wood fund. We have wood and supplies. So the cost of the wood and the glue and the tape and the things that he uses as he's making them. And then last binder that I did tabs in was my reserves. So I have car maintenance, which is divided into oil changes, tags, deductible, and emergency fund. I need to figure out how much my deductible is before I can actually plan and save for that. Health savings does have some as well. So I have medicine, health, copays, and deductible. So our copays are $25. Our deductible I think is, it might be $250 or $500. I'll have to check. And then medicine and health I just want to save up for in case we need to buy stuff. And for bills advancement, so this is something I want to work towards. So I already do 1 month ahead, as you can see, and I use prop bills for that. But I do want to do 2 months. These are so out of order. 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and 6 months ahead. That's long-term goals. But I do want to go ahead and start working on 2 months. So you might see me put what I'm going to put for next month, but also put a little bit of something in 2 months just to start building up that advancement. But the ultimate goal being 6 months ahead in bills, that would be awesome. And I think that is all that I did. Yes. That's all I did in these binders. So I hope that you guys got some inspiration or, you know, some ideas of your own if you wanted to make tabs for yourself. Pretty easy. So if you have a Cricut, all you need is about $12 on Amazon if you have Prime, and grab you some of that thick vellum. Link is in the description below, and go ahead and play around with it. If you don't, of course, Intentional Living still does them. I think she might be closing her shop or has already closed her shop because she's moving, so she's not going to be able to sell anything while she's in that process. So it might be closed for 2 or 3 weeks, but once she reopens, everything will be there ready for you to purchase. But Again, I hope this helped. This is not in any way to take away from her business. I don't want to do that, but I did want to offer a budget-friendly way of making your own. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you on Monday with our next DIY custom envelope, which we're going to be doing our mental health envelope. I cannot wait. It's so cute. So I'll see you guys later. Enjoy your weekend, and as always, until next time, bye.